Hello and welcome to NYSS Race Day. I'm your host, Dominic Konoweski. On the line, we have staff from Motor Speedway, limited late model driver, Ariana Jencik. Ariana, welcome to the New York Sports Show.
Hi, thank you for having me again. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Yeah, happy to have you on now, folks. We had Ariana on back in October. Sadly, that video got taken down. Copyrighted, in fact, so hopefully this video stays up. And if I'm correct, this is still technically your first ever interview.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so happy that you chose the NYSS for that. It's a true honor. Now, you just finished your 2021 season at Stafford. That was your rookie season. Across 7 starts, you had 1 top 5 and 6 top 10s. What would you say was your most memorable race?
I think that the last two were probably my best. I know I was leading. I think it was 19 out of 20 laps, my second to last race, and then my last, like, whatever you want to call it, race day ended in that heat race accident. So I feel like those two were probably the two races that I took the most experience out of, just because of the situations that occurred.
Yeah, and how are you gonna go into that 2022 racing season? Of course, you got experience, but at the same time, only 7 races your rookie season, so you did not complete the full season. You were racing part-time. But, of course, any experience is good experience, and with you doing 7 races, that is more than a solid amount of laps under your belt. What would you say was the biggest thing that you learned in those 7 races?
I feel like next season we're gonna be really smart. There's news going around that there's gonna be a lot of us. If you go on Stafford's page and you check to see how many are registered, there's quite a few. There's more than there were last year. So we're gonna use our heads. We're gonna be smart, but we're not gonna take any crap from anyone. I don't feel like I should get treated any less than anyone else just because I'm a kid. But this year was a really big learning year for us. My brother got 3 wins and in 4 weeks, so that was really great. And then I, of course, had my 7 starts. I don't think I'll be classified as a rookie next year. I'm not too sure. I think it's 6 races, and then you're not fully considered a rookie. But yeah.
What would you say, if there even is, the biggest thing that you feel like you have to prove next season, if there even is anything that you feel like that you really got to prove, either to yourself or to the people in the stands or your competitors?
Well, I feel like just being a girl, you get a lot of backlash, and people are really negative. So I do feel like that I have to prove things to people, but at the same time, that's not my goal. I'm there to win races. I'm there to not play games. It's actually something that I want to make a career out of. We plan on taking a trip down to North Carolina to look at the schools I actually applied to. So, I mean, I don't really do things for other people. I do things for my own satisfaction and to make my parents proud and to make my family proud.
You know what? I don't think you could have said it any better. Great mentality. Of course, you're starting out young, so you already have a lot of experience for the age that you are. And, of course, good luck with North Carolina. Frankly, we don't see that many people in the limited late models. Of course, you mentioned earlier that it seems like it's going to be definitely a bigger field this upcoming season than it was the most previous. What really made you go down that limited late model pathway? Usually when drivers are new to Stafford, they go with the street stocks or sometimes the SK lights.
Well, I started out in the truck division. I used to race bandos at Waterford, and I always loved the trucks. And one day I came home from school, and my dad was like, "Oh, like, pack your stuff, we're gonna get a truck." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And we built it all by ourselves. That was my first real build, I guess you could say, because bandos, you didn't really do, there was no setup to it. And then my brother, I think it was for his birthday, like a birthday present, he got a limited. and we were going to start out in the street stock division, but we couldn't find any, so my dad took that route with my brother, and my brother did that for 2.5 years, I think, and I was always on the sidelines helping him, doing whatever he needed, basically being his crew, even though there was only two of us, me and my dad. And then last year, when COVID was still bad, we were doing nothing. We had nothing to do. And my dad was like, hey, you want to race at Stafford? And he came home with a car, and we struggled to find parts to put it together. And my brother took some pretty big hits, so we had to take some pieces off my car and put them on his car. But eventually we got it out there, and I'm really grateful that I have gotten the opportunity to do what I have at such a young age. I'm really grateful that I got to race at Stafford, and I hope it's something that I can continue to do and maybe travel. I feel like both me and my brother can do really well together.
Yeah, hopefully you can continue to travel and your brother just able to grow as a whole. Frankly, 2021 was a weird year when it came to getting parts. Then, of course, you had the big tire shortage with Hoosier. It was just a crazy, odd year in general. And then going the racing category of the award, well, it was even crazier. Now, here we are, off-season. Are you using iRacing? Are you resolving tracks for testing? How are you really staying in that racing mentality and practicing?
So I did have iRacing, and I did get a couple wins off of it, but I feel like iRacing isn't really too realistic. I only had a pedal and a wheel. I didn't have that full thing, and for me as a driver, that's something that I need. But me and my brother also just got our first manual car, so we've been practicing our restart with that, so that's something that we've been using. But yes, I have been using iRacing a little bit. It's not something that I don't know how to describe it. It's just not something that I would use as the type of driver that I am, just because I need that full simulator. I need to feel what the car is doing and all of that stuff. But I have been staying in the loop.
You know what? If I'm correct, you're probably the first driver I've had on here that said that iRacing hasn't really done that much to them in the practice aspect. That's great that you need more of a fuller feel, though, because that's just the mindset. You want to feel like you're still on the track in real life, which I think is great. But I gotta say, out of all the drivers we've had on here on the New York Sports Show, well over 100, you're the first one, if I'm correct, to say that iRacing has not helped them as much as really I think anyone would expect them to.
Yeah, I always seem to do the impossible sometimes, but that's just who I am as a driver. No driver is the same.
Well, sometimes the impossible leads to great things, great achievements. Now, before we go, is there anything that you'd like to say to the people listening in?
Just thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast, and I hope to see you all at Stafford next year.
Thank you, folks. Once again, this was Limited Late Model driver Ariana Jencik. Ariana, thank you for joining us here on the New York Sports Show. Folks, if you like to sponsor Ariana, or you are now a fan of her, all of her socials are linked below. Ariana, thank you.